Disney Cruise Line, Princess Cruise Lines. Which is better? Actually, a better question would be, which one's better for you? Well, those are the only two cruise lines I've ever been on, and I've been on more Disney than Princess, but I had a really hard time finding comparisons between the two of those before I went from Disney to Princess. So I'm making this video for those of you who are wanting to try something a little different, and I'll give you all the deets after a dance party. Go. Nailed it. Hey gang, it's Cindy, a midlife girl, and I'm over here narrating and navigating my midlife for all the world to see with heart and humor and fabulous hair. It's kind of a joke. You'd have to know me for a little while to know that that's kind of a joke, not very funny. I do have fabulous hair. I mean, let's talk about it. I have fabulous hair. I just don't do it very often, so even when it looks crappy, I call it fabulous because it is. Today's shenanigans, I'm going to do a smackdown comparison of Disney Cruise Line and Princess Cruise Line because, like I said, those are the only two I've ever done. I'm going to give you the pros and the cons of both so that you're able to make an informed decision about what might be the best one to start with or another one you'd like to try. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the age groups. They're kind of at opposite ends of each other. So of course, the Disney Cruise Line is going to be perfect for families, for big groups of families, like different generations. There's something for everybody on Disney. Tons and tons and tons of children, obviously, on Disney Cruise Line. Doesn't bother me that much because I just love Disney. We've actually only cruised Disney either as a couple, my husband and I, or with our teenage boys who were like 15 and up. So I've never actually done a Disney cruise with little ones. I think it would be super fun, but super stressful. Disney's for families, but it's also great for couples if you love Disney. I mean, if you really love that Disney vibe. Princess is gonna be as many children as you see on a Disney cruise ship. You're gonna see people 50 and over on Princess. It's just an older crowd. It is by no means a sedate crowd. It's very active. The style of cruising, I would call both of them very classic cruising. People dress for dinner. They have formal nights. Both of the ships, styling of ships is, I would call very classy. The Disney ships tend to be kind of Art Nouveau, Art Deco, and of course it's completely themed for Disney. It's not over the top. It's very nautical. Disney uses a lot of navies and reds and golds. The Regal Princess that we were on just in February was more just real bright neutrals, lovely, lots of crystal. I loved that ship. Okay, we're going to talk about food. The food was comparable. I need to qualify that because we haven't cruised Disney for a couple years, and we did these 4 cruises in a row, and I had nothing to compare it to, so I thought the food was fabulous, basically because everybody's cooking for you. I mean, you can cook me a hot dog, and I'm gonna think it's gourmet because I didn't have to make it. I thought the Disney Cruise Line food was delicious. Cabana's buffet, I thought it was wonderful. I had nothing to compare it to. We went on to Princess, and I'd heard really, really great things about the Princess food, but I was doing keto, so I didn't get to savor all the offerings on Princess, but I think I would probably rate the Princess food on the buffet as maybe a little better. They had a whole row of, like this whole little alleyway of desserts. They call it the pastry shop. So I would give a little bit of a slant toward Princess just based on what I remember from Disney. I will say that Disney's Palo, which is one of their specialty restaurants, we do the brunch at Palo, and it is fabulous. We did a specialty dining in the Crab Shack on Princess, and I'm not a fan of that kind of food, so I didn't think it was that awesome. But the people I was cruising with thought it was really good. So it's a toss-up. I think their food is comparable on both ships. Princess did have more dining options, not a ton more, but more dining options than Disney. I would give the buffet on Princess just a little bit more points than Disney, but both great. I will say that the Disney eating experience in the evenings in the main dining rooms way exceeded Princess, and that's because you rotate through 3 different main dining rooms. Each one of them are completely themed. It's entertainment while you're eating. It's not just a dining room. You do have the same wait staff on Disney as you move through the different venues that you eat at for your main dining room. The dining on Disney and the MDRs, even though the food's comparable, the experience was much more fun for me on Disney. On Princess, we had a great staff. I think they were maybe a little new, but I thought they did great. But we had a really bad location for our table and we were unable to move that. And where we were sitting and just the dining room we were in was just, I mean, it was pretty, but it was kind of boring. And we were right next to where they're moving dishes and the servers are making drinks and that kind of thing. So that was kind of a bummer. There's no entertainment, there's no theming, and you're in the same restaurant at the same table every night on Princess, and that just kind of gets a little old. Got to give that one to Disney. Okay, I'm just gonna make one quick note about service. Everybody talks about how the Disney experience and the Disney service on Disney Cruise Line is just beyond amazing, and it is. It is totally amazing. I mean, every person you talk to is phenomenal. On Princess, exactly the same. We were treated like royalty on Princess too. It was, I mean, Princess Cruises. So I didn't see any difference. As far as the service that we were provided, both our steward, our service team, people we spoke to at the guest services, at the excursion desk, in the spa, anybody that we talked to, I felt like had the same caliber level of service and wanting to keep us happy as we did on Disney. So I think the services, that's just a wash. They're both amazing. Let's talk about entertainment. It's kind of hard to compare because Disney is an entertainment company and it's an entertainment cruise. And I'm gonna talk mainly about their evening shows. The music that they provide around the ship, both on Princess and Disney, are comparable. There's guitar players, there's classical music, there's jazz singers. Those are kind of the same on both Princess and Disney. But the evening entertainment shows on Disney, as far as the Broadway shows that they do, I mean, it's Disney. I mean, it's Disney. You're not going to beat that in the evening. I mean, you can't. Now, we saw one show in the theater on Princess because basically the other shows that they provided were not really our thing, and so we only went to one, and it was amazing. It was the same caliber as Disney, of course not Disney themed, but it was amazing. I cried, I cheered, I stood up. It was brilliantly done, but there was just that one show for the whole 7-day cruise that we went to the show. And basically from my cruise experience, my favorite thing about, well, not my favorite, one of my favorite things is the dinner and the show, or the show and then the dinner if you're doing late dining, and just the ambiance of the ship in the evening. And I got to give that to Disney because the entertainment's just so phenomenal. Of course, they've got character meet and greets, so the atrium area is always bustling.
This is
Hello.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
That's what she told me to say.
He has fabulous hair.
I have fabulous hair.
No pink though.
No pink. No. Well, there may be some somewhere. The hair's not pink,
He
but there
actually
may be
needs
little bits of bubbles.
he needs to go to Senses Spa.
Whereas on Princess, the atrium area, it is kind of more bustling, but it's much more sedate because there's no children. I think I saw 10 kids on that whole cruise. Evening shows and entertainment, I'm gonna have to give to Disney, but duh, it's Disney. I mean, that's what you're paying the premium for. Let's talk about the staterooms. Staterooms are kind of important to me because I do actually spend quite a bit of time in our stateroom. We always have a balcony cabin. So as far as both the staterooms that we've had on Disney cruises and the stateroom we had on Regal, very similar, beautiful, very decorated very differently. Like I said, Disney does like the deep nautical navies and reds and golds. Disney has the split bathroom concept where there's one room that has your toilet, the magical flushing toilet, and a sink, and then there's another one right next to it which has another sink and then either a shower or tub. So for families, it's great to have 2 spaces and 2 sinks. On Princess, there's just the one bathroom, and it is small like most cruise ships, but it was adequate for my husband and I. So this is the tiny little bathroom. This is you could hang your suits on the string across there, clothesline. Tons of shelves for toiletries, a nice sink. Plenty of storage in both spaces. I did actually like the layout of the Princess stateroom better than I did on Disney because of the way the the closet is open. It faces the bathroom door as opposed to walking in your stateroom and right here's like a bank of closets and right here are your bathrooms. Princess does it a little different, and I just feel like there's more space and room there, and there's a little bit more of a division between the getting ready area of the bathroom and the closets and the rest of the room.
I love how Princess does their closets. It's just open. Right here as you walk in, this is the bathroom, which I'll show you in a minute.
Also, Princess colors are all real neutral and light and bright and airy, less nautical.
Okay, so we just got here and our room is ready.
Beds comparable on both, pillows comparable on both, lovely. Plenty of outlets and things just for my husband and I. I will say I enjoyed the light and airy feelings on the Regal Princess a little more than I did Disney, just because of the darker colors. I'm just kind of a more light and bright person. Your mileage may vary. All right, so now we're gonna talk about pools. Pools on Disney Cruise Line are cray-cray because there's just families and they're crowded, just crowded all the time. Hard to find chairs. It's just the nature of being a cruise ship that, you know, a cruise line that caters to families. And they also have water slide or the aqueduct. They have water features. They have a water park. They have little, you know, Nemo's Reef, which is like a little splash pad for little ones. Princess has 2 main pools in the main part of the ship, another adults only, the sanctuary area, and then they also, at least on Regal, and I know this isn't on all their ships, but there's an aft pool, which was my favorite because it was always quiet. It's right there on the end of the back of the ship, and of course aft is my favorite place in the world to be. I just love to watch the wake of the ship. On Disney there is adults only pool area, and we did enjoy that. It was fine. We don't spend a whole ton of time at the pools. On sea days on Princess, it's the same deal. You got to go out early to get your chairs. Not as early as Disney, we didn't find, but you do have to go out and get your chairs early. Okay, the spa. I did not get spa services on any of my Disney cruises, other than I did have my hair done once, my fabulous hair. I believe it was the Magic. And they were high pressure sales even in the salon. And high pressure sales really turned me off. Now, on the Regal, I paid for a Swedish massage, and the gal that took care of me was so sweet. She never asked me if I wanted to buy anything, like nothing. So it was from start to finish a beautiful experience. I don't know if that's typical. I don't know if other girls push you more. I'll have to test that out on our next cruise because I will definitely be getting another massage. So let's get into cost, because the comparison between Disney and any other cruise in the mainstream, Disney is just always going to be more expensive. We actually had a Disney cruise booked for this past January on the Fantasy, because that's the only Disney ship we had not been on yet, and I wanted to do the Grand Slam. And as the time got closer to pay that off, it was just, I had been researching other cruise lines and comparing prices, and I was just like, yikes, you know, it's just a lot more, and I feel like I don't want to spend that money if I don't have to, and I wanted to try some other cruises to see if I'd missed the Disney experience. So that's when I started researching Princess, and I'd heard a lot of people saying, if you like this style of Disney cruising, you probably like Princess. Our particular cruise, and I compared the same week, same amenities, the Princess cruise we took was half the cost of Disney. Half. Now, your mileage may vary depending on type of year or whatever, but it was like 50%, literally 50% less than what we were going to spend for Disney for the same 7-night itinerary at the same time of year. It's hard to ignore that kind of difference. One of the reasons Disney is more expensive is what I've already spoken about. It's an entertainment company. You are paying for that Disney experience. Like I said, I think the service and the food is comparable, the style of ship, all that kind of thing, but the entertainment that you're getting and the 24/7 immersive theming of their ships, you are paying a premium for that, and you have to really appreciate that, or have somebody in your party with you who really appreciates that going in to make that price worth it. Now, the other thing is Disney does not charge for their soda. Every other cruise line you have to pay for soda. There's a soda package, there's alcohol packages. Disney, soda is free. You do have to pay for alcohol. That's a huge moneymaker for most cruise lines, and Disney is not making money on that. I mean, we're talking families who are drinking a lot of soda pop. The other thing is Disney Cruise Lines do not have casinos on board. That is probably one of the hugest money makers for cruise lines. So between not charging for soda and not having a casino, they have to kind of make up for that. It's not just, oh, we're Disney and we just can charge 50% more than every other cruise. That is the difference, I think, between the cost. You need to decide for yourself if it's worth it. I think it is. I also know that I'm not going to cruise Disney every year because it is significantly more expensive for us to do that. On Princess, I do want to mention, on formal nights, the casino is non-smoking. So that's really fun. Like, my husband does like to gamble a little bit, so we always went on non-smoking nights. Everybody was dressed up and it was just kind of fun. Both cruise lines have their own private island, and so Castaway Cay is amazing. We love Castaway Cay. We spend time at the family beach with all the families. We also go to Serenity Bay. My husband's done the bike ride, the slides, things like that. Princess has Princess Cay, which we loved. Princess Cay, much more laid back vibe. We did a stingray adventure there. We did rent a bungalow on Princess Cays, and I will link above. It'll be over here. It'll be up there somewhere. I did a real quick little 2-minute fun video about our day at Princess Cays. Lovely, lovely. They do have to tender you, which means you have to get on one of the little boats to go from the ship to Princess Cays, whereas Disney just kind of pulls right up to their own dock and you just walk off the ship and you're right on the island. So there is that, but I mean, it was no big deal. It's just a quick tender ride. We did get priority tendering because we rented a bungalow. All in all, that's my comparison of Princess and Disney. I will definitely cruise both of them again. If you have any questions or you have any input on things I said or your experiences on those two ships, please leave a comment below and let me know. We can all kind of learn from each other this way. And with that, I'm off to live my best midlife with some fabulous hair. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing if you like to follow Midlife Shenanigans. Have a great day, guys. Hey, I'm popping in to say, wow, I talk too much. I do want to remind you that if you are new to cruising and feeling a bit overwhelmed, but you really want to try it, the best resource out there is Cruise Tips TV here on YouTube and their academy. They have like a cruising course. It's like a cruising 101 course. It's also fabulous for those of us that just like to nerd out on cruising because there's tips and tricks and hacks, packing lists, downloadable things. You get access to their private Facebook group, and they're kind enough to offer my subscribers and followers a $5 discount, and I'm gonna link that below. It's a fabulous resource, and I always check in with it when I'm getting ready to book my next cruise.